Alrighty, welcome to the Good Vibes Only podcast. I am your host, Talia. And, I decided to name this podcast Good Vibes Only because that's what this is about. Just good vibes, good conversations, good, good good people, good energy, and that's the goal. That's the goal, and so I'm really excited about our show tonight. You know, um, like I said, I also want good vibes on the podcast. So with my guests, I want them to, also bring that good vibes as well. And so I'm really excited about tonight's episode. We have a special guest. I would like for him to introduce himself.
What's up, everyone? My name is Kali Kairis, and I am a fusion reggae artist hailing from the remarkable, amazing island, not island, island country of Guyana. So
Guyana.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me, and let's spread some good vibes.
Yes, and I appreciate you for taking the time to be here. Um, I said that you got me a shirt.
Yeah, man, you can't
This
come
is really
empty-handed.
nice. I really appreciate
yeah,
this gift. This
yeah.
is really cool. This is
The
really
Johnny
cool.
don't cry.
Johnny, don't cry.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you mentioned that you are from Guyana.
Yes, Guyana.
Guyana. All right. So, what was that like growing up
Well,
in the
my
islands?
childhood was remarkable. Guyana is it's pretty much a Caribbean vibe.
Mhm.
So it's a Caribbean vibe, even though it's not part of the Caribbean, you get a
Mhm.
Caribbean vibe. So it was great growing up. Great food, great
Mm.
energy. Great fruits. You
Mm.
get fruits you don't really get
Ooh.
over here. So,
Yeah. What's
uh,
your favorite fruit?
so my favorite food is one called sapodilla.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
What's
So
that?
sapodilla is a fruit that kind of have a brownish
Mm.
outer tone. The inside is brown and it have it's like very sweet, very
Mm.
sweet. So yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I
Okay.
just came back from Colombia and I brought some sapodilla seed back. Don't let the Homeland Security know. Smuggle it in, but yeah.
That sounds good. I love fruit. I
So
love fruit. I feel like the fruit in the islands probably tastes way better than the
mhm.
fruit here in the States,
Yeah, because
you
we
know?
usually pick our fruit when it's ripe. We
When it's
don't
oh and
we don't pick it
fresh.
green and then allow it to ripe. Yeah. So yeah, it was good.
That's good. Well, for tonight, our topic is we're focusing on music. And I know that you are an artist and that you
Yeah.
do music yourself. And me, I'm a lover of music. I love all types of music. I'm a really big fan of like gospel music. I'm a fan of '90s R&B music.
Mhm.
I'm also a fan of island music and reggae music. I love all different types of genres, and I want to talk to you about your experience with music growing up.
Oh.
Um, how did this love for music start?
Well, I think it actually, if I think back and I actually if wrote some narrative on this,
Mm-hmm.
my father was big into music. In fact, he used to be a drummer,
Mm-hmm.
but that I don't have any memory of this. I just knew of it from
Mm-hmm.
conversation carrying on. However, he used to play music. He was in the military. He used to play music on his little turntable,
Mm-hmm.
and he would play. He would sit there. Back then, they didn't have like CD. You, if you have a 4 to 5, it has one song on one side, and you have to flip it, and he would sit there all day playing music. So that's my introduction to music. And as far as me sliding into the artistic part of it,
Mm-hmm.
me doing music and stuff, we had this thing called there was two reggae festivals. One was called Reggae Sunsplash, and one was called
Mm-hmm.
Sting. And back then, I know you're kind of a young buck. You probably didn't know what a VHS tape looked like, but we used to watch those on VHS, and that's what kind of got me into wanting to become an artist. So yeah.
Okay. So, are there any artists that inspire you in your music?
Yes, definitely. So it's more of a evolution, as I got more mature into the music.
Mm-hmm.
the earlier influences has changed. So initially it was Shabba Ranks. That was like one of the big influence growing up, and then over the time, I know you start. It never really changed because like it's energy, stage energy and stuff. And then they have like Buju Banton. Of course, every reggae artist probably would add Bob Marley, the king of reggae, to their list. And there's a whole slew of reggae artists. Not only reggae artists, there's hip hop artists that I like really admire.
Mm-hmm.
From the old school cats like Redman and Method Man. They bring the
Okay.
energy. Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole.
Does some of that influence your music as well?
Well, I really can't say no because specifically with art, you really don't know who really influence. Because you can listen and pick up stuff that you don't even know. So I would definitely say if I'm attracted to their music, I would say yes,
Okay.
they play a part in my musical development. So yeah,
All right. Where do you get your creativity from?
uh, life, when now life, because my first album, it was a totally different process. I would just hear an instrumental and be like, okay, I can flow to that, and I would write whatever come to my mind. This new process is more strategic. It has to be emotion, involved. It has to be entertaining. I always tell people, my E square has to have two elements: emotional, evoke some sort of emotion, whether happiness, sadness, whatever, anger, or and it has to be entertaining. So that's kind of my thing. So I really pick a lot of stuff from life. And sometimes it might just be one aspect in life. I'll just take a piece of that and just run with the rest. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Music is so important to me. Growing up, I listen to music every single day. It's something that I feel like I can't live without. Do you feel the same way?
Uh, it would be disingenuous for me to say anything otherwise because as anybody who within art, the arts, whether you're a painter, you're a photographer, whatever, I feel like the music, you don't really, for me, I don't feel like music, I choose music. I feel like it chose me. And if I'm not doing music, I'm the happiest when I'm doing music. So I feel like, yeah, in a sense, I wouldn't say I can't live without it, but I feel like I live my best life with it. I think that's the most genuine way I can put it.
Okay. Well, now you mentioned that you feel like music found you. So, were you doing music this whole time? Were you doing something different before you started doing being an artist?
Actually, I started doing it was more in conjunction. I started music at a very young age. So I started writing, I would say maybe like 13, 14. I would start writing music, um, doing my whole, I have like an engineering background too, and it started back then. I
Okay.
would take old little speakers and convert it into microphones and put it next to my speaker box with a tape right there, and I would record, over that. So that was my first recording engineer sessions way back in the day, and I started doing music then. But over the years, certain things have changed. So I can't remember the exact age. I know I was still in high school, about to graduate high school, and that's where I got my first record deal, and that fell through. So I joined the military,
Okay.
spent 6 years in the military, did some time in the federal government, and once I put that on the shelf, I decided I'm gonna do music full time. So here we are. So I just dropped the
Yeah.
album, last month. So there was a little hiatus between, my first album and
I
next
feel
album.
like that's crazy you said that because I feel like everything happens for a reason. So maybe that hiatus was necessary in order to produce this new project that you just released,
I think it
you know?
definitely, I think it definitely created a settling of your mind. you're not constantly creating to the point where you lost the creative edge. So if I had to look at that, I would see some benefit in time. You know, sometimes it's good to like take a relaxation. Even for me, it was more a choice. You know, because being in the military and doing all this stuff, you know, you kind of want to put a quality project, and this you don't want to be pulled this other way. Plus, I was in school full time too. So, but yeah, I would say the time helped. Now, one thing I disagree with, I'm not a believer in the concept of everything happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a believer in, you know, you kind of make your destiny. You know, everybody kind of have a perspective on
Okay.
it, but I kind of look 5, 10 years and say what I want to do, and I'll put all the pieces together to accomplish that. So that everything happened for a reason. I really haven't bought into that, you know, verbiage, but for some
Maybe
people,
everything happens for a reason because we are the reason that it
yeah,
happens, you know?
yeah, I
That
can,
could be another perspective too.
yeah.
Okay, okay. I like how you think though. Um, so growing up, you said you would you write, you used to write and things of that
Those
sorts.
are right lyrics, yeah.
Do you play any instruments?
The only instrument I play is called the djembe drum. It's like an African drum.
Okay.
In the Caribbean, it's called a kete drum. And it's kind of weird because I'm the only one. Me and my youngest brother, we kind of he doesn't really do it on the level I do it, but he also writes and he's on two of my songs. My uh, oldest brother, he plays the drum. Or he used to actually play for the Guyana national drum, the band. And my other brother, he plays the steel pan. So I was really the only one that haven't really been in like in a band
Okay.
environment.
Okay.
And even the djembe drum, I learned it on myself. And I was like, it's like very rudimentary. You know, if you got any rhythm, you
Right.
can play it.
So can you tell us anything about this new project that you released?
Oh, I can tell you a lot about it.
Yeah. So yeah, we can go ahead and talk about that. So, you know, you did mention that you kind of went through like a little bit of a hiatus, and then this project kind of released itself. So, what was the inspiration behind this project, as
Well,
far as the
the
music?
music go. So pretty much as far as the inspiration is like I knew I wanted to start doing music again. And just because of it was like 16 years not recording, but I actually did record on a few features. You know, my friends would send me some stuff and I did that. But as far as this project goes, I wanted to create something that is 100% me without
Okay.
any influence of anybody saying how you should do it this way. That was the foundation of it. I'm gonna do whatever I feel was necessary for me to do this project. So that was number one. And I wanted my album to be rooted in my experience. Regardless of whatever negative connotation has to it, positive, happy, sad,
You just wanted to speak in your truth.
I just pour it all in there. And so that's kind of how the album came about.
So this is really from the heart.
Yes, and
This is
that's why
authentic.
it got the name of this. It's called the Book of Kalikaris because you're getting an insight into my life. So
So it's,
everything was kind of strategic with it.
okay. Oh, it's real authentic.
Yeah.
All right, I like that. I like that. Um, so do you have any advice for anyone that wants to do music full time, but maybe is dealing with fear, maybe is afraid to, step out and, believe in themselves?
Well, I think the music business is really, really difficult. If your aspiration is to jockey for a position in the music business and for your ultimate goal is to be a star, then you're gonna have some difficulty. I don't have that aspiration. I just want to make good music and I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna do my music and I'm gonna let my music
Mm-hmm.
organically reach the people. That's my strategy. So that's what my advice would be, is to be like, just make the music that you want to listen to. 'Cause ultimately, if nobody else listens to your music, you're stuck with it. So you better make something you enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
and then you hopefully other people is going to enjoy it too. So that's kind of would be my advice, because if
Mm-hmm.
you put your heart into it and it's a decent project, people are going to gravitate to it.
For sure,
So
for sure. That's really good advice. Thank you for sharing that. So, do you recommend that people collaborate? How important is collaboration in this industry, in the music industry?
it is significantly important,
Okay.
um, because you kind of get lost when you try to do everything yourself.
Mm.
So, and it's always good to get different perspective and stuff. Like for instance, I have a audio engineering background too,
Mm-hmm.
and but I did not mix or master any of my music.
Hmm.
And actually sent it off to a guy in the country Georgia, and he mixed the entire album. And
Mm-hmm.
what made me respect him more is his passion, because he would argue with me about my own music.
Mm.
And if he's showing that much passion for my music, I was like, okay. After like the third song, I just let him do
Mm-hmm.
what he did,
Mm-hmm.
and he had any feedback. I
Right.
was like, okay, it's good. Yeah.
You
So
know
I
it's in
think,
good hands.
and the same thing with collaborating with other artists. Now there's is a lot of benefit to collaborating with other artists. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if you are looking to establish a fan base, now you're exposed to that individual fans too. Because if you're in the same track, highly likely they're gonna listen to it and be
Mm-hmm.
like, "Who is this person on here?" So I think that's an added benefit. And we're in the age of social media. If you and I
Mm-hmm.
work on a track, and even if you mix and master it, and I said mix and master it in my little post by this person, and give
Mm-hmm.
you a little, mention, now it's on your page, and now your fans is exposed to that. So there's a lot of benefits to collaborating,
Okay.
and collaborating with the right people also, and people who's giving off the
Mm-hmm.
same message as you. If you're conscious about that, I'm type of conscious about that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with this album, we kind of be has to be within the same topic, and push with that. So
For sure, for sure. Um, how do you deal with any challenges if you have faced any challenges within the industry? How do you deal with dealing with some of the challenges that you face in the music
I
industry?
think my biggest challenge right now is navigating the social media realm, um,
Okay.
because I was very resistant for a long time, specifically with Instagram, because we keep getting a bunch of social media platforms popping at
Mm-hmm.
you. At one point, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh no, I have to create a new account and go to, the the process."
Yeah.
So I kind of stay away from that for a while. But now I'm behind the curve. Like I literally just, I think yesterday, hit 1,000 followers. But with even with that, there's kind of a celebration, because when I dropped the album, I only had
Mm-hmm.
300 something, and these are all organic followers. So,
Okay.
but still, I'm way behind the
But
curve.
how isn't word of mouth important too? Because I know a lot of artists that may not utilize social media as much, but word of mouth is stronger, and so they still are able to get gigs and they're still
Yeah,
able to travel and things like
it
that.
all depends on your approach to it. I have a totally different approach. I'm coming from it from the perspective that I really don't have no intention of being signed to any label. I have my
Okay.
own label. I don't. So I'm on the approach of developing an organic fan base. And
Okay.
what you say is 100% accurate, because if you want to develop that type of grassroots movement,
Mhm.
word of mouth is important. And you kind of have to hit the ground, talk to people,
Mhm.
and walk into venues, and do all the other stuff
For
that
sure.
a lot of people wouldn't do. Now you can be successful by just staying online.
Mhm.
There's a different type of artist, but I think it's beneficial if you kind of put your attention on both aspects
Both.
of it. Yeah.
And maybe word of mouth has a more of an impact too
I think
when
it
it's
is.
more face
Yeah.
to face.
hmm
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think if you have, and even if you look at it from the social media perspective,
Mm-hmm.
if you and I are friends and you send me an artist, say, hey, check out this person. I think he's dope. It takes more weight than I'm just scrolling through,
Right.
and just you probably zoom right past the person. So all that type of stuff, and that's similar to word of mouth, not
Mm-hmm.
exactly, but
Mm-hmm.
it has the same type of impact.
Okay. That's very true. That's very true. Still on the topic of music, I know growing up, I've had so many like different artists that I've just loved so much and that I've admired. And I know you mentioned a few that you loved and admired and that inspired you. Um, do you have like a message for anybody out there that, you know what I'm saying, uh, just wants to be an artist but doesn't know like where to start?
I think that's a very
You
good question because I think one of the biggest things with art in general is fear. And not only
know.
fear of like just starting, is fear of how it's going to be received.
Mm,
So I would say just if you're a painter, just paint. If you're a
okay.
musician and you want to do music, I mean, if you don't want to do it on a professional level at first, just take music that's already there, beat, and just write to them, and that'll give you, the
Okay.
practice, the developmental process. And when you're ready, you work with a producer or you purchase your beats, and just lay it down. I mean, technology nowadays is you can go in your closet and record. I mean, it
Mhm.
don't have to be the
Mhm.
best quality, but it kind of sometimes even when I listen to my first album, I was like, ugh, because the quality is not
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
professional, industry standard. We just record, mix and master ourselves and put it
Mhm.
out.
Mhm.
No processing on the vocals or anything. It's just raw. So it's like you can hear the development, but it's all part of growth. That's life, part of growth, and
Mm.
you kind of have to stand behind whatever product you do and recognize it as, okay, that's the position I was at that
Mhm.
point, and here I am now. So it kind of shows growth. So
For sure. For
just
sure.
just take it
For
with
sure.
strides. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. My brother, he's actually an artist himself.
Mhm.
He's a rapper. He's a Christian rapper, and I actually saw the development of who he is
Mhm.
now. Like at first, I was kind of like, like I was on board when he, stated that he wanted to do music and he wanted to be a rapper,
Mhm.
but I was a little iffy, but I didn't, tell him he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And now to see where he is now and how
Yeah.
like he's has a fan base now and he's traveling, I see that having a support system is very
Mhm.
valuable, very necessary. And I could have been like, you know, I could have killed his dreams by not even believing,
Yeah.
what he was saying at first, but I just was like agreeing with him. But I also supported him,
Yeah.
even though I didn't see his vision. So how important is um, the support to you? How important is
It's
support?
important. It's actually significantly important because there's a lot of people in my life that has been there for a while, and I don't ever think that support came solely from the aspect of music. I
Mm,
think that support came from having people around you that want to see you succeed, and they're gonna help you in any way that they can
mm,
to succeed. And I heard a
mm,
quote recently. It said that your biggest hater is someone close to you, and your biggest fan is usually someone you don't ever never met or kind of know. And I
that's
find
crazy.
that could have a lot of significance because sometimes the people closest to you don't really see your potential, and it's not because they have like a significant
Mm-hmm.
doubt in you. It's because I guess in a way they know you and they don't really know that part of you. Because a lot of times these artists, this thing just pop
Mm-hmm.
up. It's like you've been doing everything else. All of a sudden, you want to be like your
Right,
brother, like a
right.
rapper,
Now, so
like
you want to be a
be a
rapper?
rapper.
Whoa.
But I
Yeah.
think it's cool to just let people go through a process
Mm-hmm.
because people who are not serious about the art, within 6 months they give it up, anyways. So yeah, but like I have a lot of support. My wife is significantly supportive
Mm-hmm.
of pretty much everything I do.
That's good.
Like this dude over here, Marlon, always support everything
Hey,
I
shout
do.
out to
So
Marlon.
there's a lot of support in my corner. So my
That's so good.
siblings and stuff, they
That's good. I love
yeah.
that. I love that. Um, I mean, we're still focusing on the topic of
Mhm.
music. Um, like I said, music is something that's near and dear to my heart. Um, it's it's a passion of mine. I wish I could play an instrument, but I don't,
Mhm.
which is okay. But if you weren't doing music, if you weren't an artist, what else would you be doing if you weren't doing what you currently doing now?
Listen, anybody who know me knows that I do not sit still. So
Okay.
even with the music, I and if you are aware of this, I have a doctoral degree. I was doing educational podcasts.
Mm,
Um, I directed feature film. So there's a whole
wow.
list of stuff that
Okay.
I have in my arsenal. I plan on putting out a graphic novel. So it's just I love doing artistic stuff. So
Mm,
it's just that music is my full passion.
full
So
passion.
I'm not gonna be bored. You know,
Okay.
one of these days I'm gonna like settle down and start reading books. But for now, creating stuff is what brings me the joy. So
Okay. What are some of your goals for the future?
well, right now my is pretty much to push this album as far as it possible. It can go. So I'm gonna be working on that. That's more in the near future. I'm also planning on recording more stuff. I have other songs either completed or
Okay.
partial. So I'm be working. I will. One thing I know for sure, I will not stop making music if you know
Mm,
situation justifies.
mhm.
That,
Mhm.
you never know what's gonna happen, but I'll continue making music,
Mhm.
and we see where the other stuff falls into place. But that's kind of the focus for now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
make some sweet reggae music.
We love that. We love that. We love that. Um. Okay. So I appreciate you coming here. I appreciate you. You know, telling us about who you are and where you come from, and your inspiration and your passion. This has really been a good conversation. I feel like I got a lot out of this. And we got to a little bit. We got a lot to know about who you are. And is there anything else that you want to share with us? Any advice that you want to give to any students out there and that's interested in the music industry?
Well, my advice is very very succinct. It's like or succinct, very direct. It's like just do it. If you believe in yourself and you want to do music, just do it. Don't you know don't let the barriers, every all those little fears, they're not really.
Mm-hmm.
Don't pay attention to them. Just do your music, and if the forest go wrong, doesn't come out the way you want to, just keep trucking.
Let's keep doing
Just repeat and perfect it. So perfect your art. And do my shameless plug.
it. Yeah, go ahead and do
Yeah,
your shameless plug.
I have a new album out there.
Yes,
The
yes.
Book of Kali Karis is available on every single streaming platform, so there's no excuses. And My social is Collekaris, COLLEKHARIS, on every platform, so you don't have to remember anything. So
Where can we get these shirts?
those shorts are on my website, and that is collekaris.com.
Okay, yeah.
So I have everything there, my music, photos, merch, and if you go on there, it's all there.
Awesome,
Yep.
awesome. Well, thank you so much again for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Um, and like I said, this was something that I feel like is needed. These conversations, you know what I'm saying? Just sharing music and support. So, we got your support. You know what I'm saying? You got our support.
I
So
appreciate that.
that is all for the Good Vibes Only podcast. I am your host, Talia. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe at the Good Vibes Only podcast on YouTube. And yeah, you guys have a good one.